Hi guys, it's Lynn here. I hope everyone is keeping really safe and well. Now today guys, I'm going to be repotting one of my little Euphorbia canariensis plants. And we have quite a few of these Euphorbia canariensis. We've got some that we have grown from seed and they're doing really well. We potted them up, I think it was last year. Quite little cute seedlings that we've grown completely from seed. And this is one we actually did buy when it was about that high, so we didn't grow this one from seed. This was already bought, I think it was probably last year or the year before, but it's grown quite a lot and it's quite scabby looking. I'm not quite sure, no signs of any bugs that we can see, but we've treated it with neem oil and things like that, and maybe just down to environmental, it can sort of grow a little bit scabby as it grows along. But if you want to see the video when we potted on our little Euphorbia canariensis that we've grown ourselves from seed, I'll link that video up above, and I'll do an update when I pot them on again this year. And before I go any further, I want to give a very special thank you to my wonderful fiancé Hans, who is behind the camera filming me today. So I've got my hands free to show this repotting, so do go over and subscribe to him if you haven't done already. Family of Cactus and Other Beauties, links up above. And a little bit about this plant. Well, obviously the Euphorbia canariensis is a succulent plant that's often wrongly classed as a cactus. It's not, it's 100% just a succulent, and it is obviously very thorny, so it gets wrongly classed as a cactus a lot. And it comes from the Canary Islands, that's why it's called Euphorbia canariensis. It's one of the ones that does like to be overwintered warmer than a lot of the other type of cacti and succulents do. Minimum of 10 degrees Celsius, which is about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And it also loves a lovely sunny position as well. And well-draining cactus and succulent soil mix. And also, it's really important that you do not overwater this, because it can be, like all cacti and succulents, rot prone. Keep it fairly dry in the winter time, I say above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and only water if it's showing signs of shriveling. We keep this more or less dry and just give it a little bit of water in the winter, maybe once every couple of months if it shrivels. We have this in our kitchen window. And in the summer they do like to be well watered. They're quite thirsty and hungry type of plants. So I would recommend fertilising this cactus at least once a month in the spring and summer with a good quality cactus and succulent fertiliser, and also plenty of watering, as long as you're using a well draining cactus and succulent soil, and also you let the soil dry out totally before you water again. Like all cacti and succulents, they don't like to be sitting in wet soil because they can rot even when they're in their growing periods. So that's a little bit about this plant and a few little care tips on it there. So now we go to repot. Now, as you show you there, roots aren't necessarily coming through the bottom, but I know this does need repotting. I want to change the soil, and it has grown a lot since, so I've got the next size up. I always like to just go into one size up rather than going into a much bigger pot to be safe, so it doesn't take any chance of rotting. And then I'm going to gently hold it at the bottom there. Also, you have to be careful with euphorbias as well, that if you do accidentally damage any of them, they give off a milky sap, which if you touch your eyes and your skin, it can be irritating, so you have to be careful there. So there we go. As I say, like a lot of succulents and cacti, they're often bigger than what their root systems are. So in this case, that should be about right for there. And I always like to gently loosen a little bit of the old soil off to let the roots free to go into the new soil. But I try to not damage the roots as much as possible there. And also, when I do repot them, I like to keep them dry for at least a week to 10 days before I start to water again. So pop that in there. And obviously, when I say about the watering, it depends what time of year. I personally like to repot cacti and succulents in the spring and sort of early summer, so they've got plenty of time to settle down into their pots during their growing period. But early spring is always best if you can repot then, because that's when they can actively get the new soil into their systems and the roots can settle down quicker. I personally wouldn't recommend repotting in the middle of winter, unless you have no other choice, obviously, but I wouldn't. There you go, so gently tapping down there. And as I say, Euphorbia canariensis loves as much sun as you can give it, as long as you can give plenty of ventilation to the plant, obviously, because if it's under a sunny glass or greenhouse, it can scorch, which I think may have what's happened to this, because it's in our kitchen window. It gets a lot of sunshine, so we're going to make sure it's got plenty of ventilation so it doesn't scar and scab. And that's pretty much it. Just make sure we tap the pot to make sure all that soil has come down to the bottom there. And that's it. Easy peasy. So I hope you enjoyed that little video on repotting our little Euphorbia canariensis and a few little care tips there should you grow this plant. And a big thank you to Hansi for filming. And if you want to know a little bit more on how to grow cacti succulents, then please do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye.